Once you stop, you will never be able to start again.
Simon, let's talk about your character. So where does he fit into this story? Who is he, and what's he about? Talk to me about this character.
I think that Simon is just someone like a lot of men in our society today who's just lost their way, you know. And I think at some point along the line, just like at the beginning of the film, he's in a very dark place. He's had, although it's not really mentioned in the film, myself and Polly, who plays my wife in the film, we discuss their backstory, and you know, he's had quite a traumatic experience, and I think he just feels lost. He's in this dead end job, and I think this idea of what being a man is maybe has just sort of escaped him, like this, and he finds someone that possibly can show him that, you know, in the form of Terry. He's the most masculine man in the world. I mean, it doesn't get more masculine than Craig Ferguson. And I think that what he's after is an opportunity to maybe get some validation from someone like that. Do you know what I mean? Because he's really really a low ebb when we meet him at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I think that lots of people and lots of men, and I know from my own personal experience, I've been in a place similar to that. Do you know what I mean? Just a bit like lost, just don't know what I'm going to do, don't know, you know what's around the corner, feeling. So I think that a lot of people can associate to that in our day and age.
Yeah, absolutely. I found a lot to identify with in the film, actually.
Yeah.
Quite weird in that respect, because you kind of look at this film as sort of, it's not a crime film at all. It's very much a psychological sort of thriller, really, but there's lots in there to sort of to see yourself in, actually.
Absolutely.
So how did the project come your way? Gerard's obviously quite an exciting filmmaker. He's done two big films before this, two very different films, but obviously both in the crime genre. But again, as I said, this is very different. So how did it come your way?
You know, I mean, like you say, Gerard makes really exciting films. He's been on my radar for many, many, many years. I was just telling someone that I've always had this thing where I felt that I was going to work with him. Like I just had this sort of idea in the back of my head that I was going to work. And then my agent sent me the script. I read it. I immediately thought, you know, it's very dark, but I just thought it was very, very funny. And then I got really excited about it. I had to go for a casting. I just felt that when I went into the casting, I was like, I'm having this. This is mine. And I think I sort of pushed it quite a bit in the casting. It could have gone both ways. But ultimately, I got the job, and then we met for a drink afterwards, and we got on really well, and we realised that we had quite a lot in common. We're pretty similar ages. We were hanging around with the same certain people you know, we went clubbing at the same time, like so we had a good reference point, and then it just we become friends, I think, very, very quickly. And then we had a sort of shorthand while we were on set that I totally trusted him. I'll do whatever he said, and I think vice versa. Do you know what I mean? We just basically we got on really well. It was a great relationship.
Yeah. I spoke to him very briefly last week, and he seems like a very easy man to get on with. And you know, he's quite an interesting character. And he's obviously very talented. He sort of comes across as a filmmaker who knows exactly what he wants. So, Craig touched upon this as well, and you know, he knows what wants on set. So I'm just kind of wondering what the experience was working with him on set, and what kind of director he is.
Well, he knows what he wants, but he's also very, very open for experimentation, and I think he likes pushing you into a sort of like a sort of vulnerable place as well. Do you know what I mean? Which is great for an actor as well. But like initially, when you first get on there, and you're just like, oh God, what is this? But then you suddenly realise that it's quite exciting, and that actually gives you so much trust. Like he trusts you so much to just bring what you can. It's very, very liberating. I mean, works in a way where we do very, very long takes, and he makes it as real as possible. You know, everything is played for real. There's no real acting, and we just live the experience in that sense. Do you know what I mean? So it's very rare that you get a chance to do that these days. Everything's like, it's all about money and just trying to get the film made as quickly as possible, or the TV show done. So experiencing that approach is just really wonderful. It's great.
Yeah. There's two scenes that stick out for me that involve your character. I mean, you're in pretty much every scene, but one of them is early on when you sort of explode in the office. So that's kind of that stands out for me. And the other one's towards the end where Craig's character's downstairs and you're upstairs with a baseball bat, reacting to what him and his mates are saying downstairs. Briefly discuss that scene with Gerard, and the later scene was filmed at the same time. So your reaction was
absolutely
So that's kind of again going back to the sort of the realism of what you were saying before, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, totally. And the other thing is that I had an earpiece in, so that I could hear everything that they were saying. So that I could hear it, it was literally in my head. And again, they were improvising downstairs. I mean, they were being so bloody scary. These guys, they were real guys, like guys from the gym that we were working at Atlantis Gym. And, you know, Craig can be fucking scary when he wants to be. Do you know what I mean? And they were improvising, and one guy pulled out some knives and started but none of that was in the script. He just basically done it, and I was thinking, how far are these guys going to go?
I've been lucky enough to be on a set with Craig, and for a new film he's got coming out, and I believe that. I believe he's intimidating. I've seen him in action. It's like, I'm just going to stay over here, you know. So what's it like working with that? I mean, he's obviously been in business so long. He's done so many films, so many TV series, and this is very different for him, though. It's a different direction for him. So what's he kind of like to work with as an actor?
Well, I think you're right. I think you obviously know his record of work and stuff like that. So before you come in to meet him, you already know the guy, and he's so big and But what was wonderful for me was just to see how much he really, really cared. Do you know what I mean? And especially with this project, I think he was like, this is something I've been crying out. I mean, both of us, these are the roles that we've been asking, pleading for most of our careers. Do you know what I mean? And he was really sort of keen to do it justice. And I think he's done a wonderful, wonderful job. And also that, you know, in a lot of these films, you don't get to see that sort of vulnerable side of him, and so just trying to push that with him and trying to work with him on with that, do you know what I mean, was just amazing seeing him go there. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it was great. And he's like you said, he's a great actor. He's very funny, Craig. He's just he's just got his timing is just impeccable. Do you know what I mean? I've worked with loads of funny comedy guys, but he's just one of the funniest guys I've worked with. He's genuinely brilliant. I come away from it thinking I really admire it. I admire him a lot. He's great.
Yeah, he's very easy to get on with, and you know, you walk away.
Yeah.
Good guy, one of the good guys.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you again. So you're also a towering presence in the film as it goes on. So I think about 30 minutes in, we shift and we see the back of your head. And so, for those who haven't seen it, you basically go undergo a transformation throughout the film. So let's talk about how that was. You kind of went full De Niro on it. So you kind of took some time off and then you bumped up. So let's talk about that process. So how did that come to be and what was it like doing it, basically?
Well, I mean, that was Gerard's plan all the way through. It was like and at some point, actually, when we were struggling to find the finance, we were talking about not doing that. And I'm so pleased that we did do that, because it makes such a difference. It made such a difference for me in terms of my process as well, like acting. Like trying to get into character and stuff like that. And but yeah, I'd never been to a gym before. I had no idea what that world was. When I initially read the script, I thought, oh, brilliant! I'm going to get fit. I'm going to be ripped. I'm like, my abs. You're going to see abs and everything. And then I was slowly introduced to the word bulk, or dirty bulk. And Gerard was sending me pictures of people, and I was thinking, but they're fat. Like what's going on here? Right? And then I realised very slowly that what it actually meant to do this, and I jumped in with both feet, but again, it was an amazing thing because I think that Simon does that as well, you know. So there was a certain sort of naivety that comes with Simon. There was definitely a naivety that comes with me in terms of training and in terms of what is needed to do this. And they both reflected each other. Like, it was brilliant that I had to go. It was actually much better that I didn't know anything about this, and that I was finding it as I was going along. And I was struggling, you know, with the eating. I don't know if you've ever done a dirty bulk before. It's just awful. I mean, you're literally just cramming food in your mouth every single minute of the day. Like, I'm eating steak and gnocchi like 3 or 4 times a day, and then plus like them all the whey proteins and the mass builders, and like it's relentless. And it was hard, and I actually loved the training. The way I had a great trainer, a guy called Serbo, and they were very gentle with me. We started off very slowly, and because the main worry was that I might get injured, and then it wouldn't. You know, we wanted a transformation. You wanted to see it, and you know, it's not Marvel transformation. Like, it's not like we had 6 months. I'd come out like, but I think it's a realistic one. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's sort of I liked it because of that. Yeah, it was a great experience. I'm not sure if I want to do it again. I mean, I do go to the gym now. Like, that's part of my daily routine. I lift weights now, which is a life-changing thing for me. Do you know what I mean?
So it's big positives come out of it then. So I was going to say, my next question was, how
Absolutely.
did you lose all of that? Because, you know, you're an actor, you've got other jobs, and, you know, you can't look, you know, like the Incredible Hulk in you know, in everything you do.
Yeah.
So how did you come away from it?
Well, I mean, that also was the other anxiety that was running through. There was 2 sort of anxiety. It's like one that I'd already been up in Newcastle and shot the first part of the film, and I've met all these big guys who were brilliant, like really like, I mean, they're massive up in Newcastle, right? And so there was an expectation for me to come back different, right? And so if I didn't come back different, that would have been really disappointing, right? So there was that anxiety that was going on through the process. But there's also the other anxiety. I'm 46 years old when I was making it, and the idea of putting all that weight on and then just go like, then them going, right, see ya, and being like, what?
Yeah.
Being just left like. But the strange thing was that when we started shooting the film, because I'm in sort of pretty much every scene, and because of the energy that goes into making those scenes, and you're running on adrenaline quite a lot. And I wasn't able to eat as much as I was while I was training. The weight seemed to be falling off, and we were like literally going like, I'm losing weight. Like, I'm like, oh my god, like it's going like, and I was so surprised at the how quick it came off. I think it's just like as soon as you stop eating, as soon as you go back to a normal diet, it seems to come down. And I literally had a job the next day after we stopped filming, and which was nice actually. It was I had a bit of bulk with me for that character, and it was actually worked. And through that job, I lost the weight started coming off. And then I jumped on another job afterwards, and there was a couple of guys that were really keen, like weightlifters, and they basically took me under their wing, and I ended up not getting shredded, but I ended up losing the weight, but keeping some of the muscle, which was great. You know?
Fantastic. Okay, so the film's finished. You know, you got it out there. So it went on to the festival circuit. There's a version that played in London, which I didn't. Yeah. I saw the harder version, which I think is the final version.
I think it is,
Gerard said it's got an 18 certificate, which fantastic. So what was it like taking it on the festival circuit, particularly Tallinn? I arrived in Tallinn probably after you guys were there, so I actually watched the film on a laptop in my hotel room, which isn't.
Oh, did you? Oh, right.
But still got the experience, and everyone was talking about muscle when I arrived, so that was kind of useful.
Sorry, I've got just got a call coming there. So, okay.
So, and then obviously you go on to win Best Actor at the Jury Prize. So let's talk about that. So what was that experience like?
Well, I mean, first of all, it was like, how's this film going to play out in the country where we're watching it with subtitles? And I think there's a lot of dark humour, like this. It feels very British to me, and also Gerard's writing. You know, it feels like he's a British filmmaker, and it was like I wonder if that's going to transfer. And the great thing about it is, we watched it on this massive screen, and it was like huge. And what was brilliant about it was how many people were laughing. I mean, they really embraced it, and they really got it. And so that was very exciting to watch it with an audience that wasn't English, to see that actually it's like a universal film. It sort of carries, you know what I mean? And we had such a great time in Tallinn. It's a great festival, right? I mean, and so we had a great time in the town. And then obviously when we got back about a week later, somebody phoned up and they said, "You've won it." And I was like, holy shit. So I went back with my wife, and yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing because this film for all of us was a sort of passion project, you know what I mean? It's like we all, I think, Craig, myself, Gerard, Stu, Bentley, like everyone involved in it just really believed in the film and wanted it to be the best that it could. And we had such a wonderful experience making it that, like, you know, I don't know about awards, they don't really mean much, but they sort of did mean much. It meant something to me for getting it for this part, you know what I mean? Because the character means a lot to me, and the film meant a lot to me. So yeah, it was great. It was great.
That comes across in the film, I think, and that's why audiences have connected with it, and myself. I mean, I've championed this film since then, really. So
yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
And it's getting released, so it's coming out on I think it's the 4th of December. So
I think so. Yeah.
I hope it's back open by then. I think the news yesterday was positive. So, and then obviously it's gone digital as well. So again, talking to Gerard about this, for this kind of film, that's actually a positive thing, that, you know, there's not many films coming out at this particular time.
Yeah.
Smaller films and more, you know, better films in my mind get the you know, attention they deserve, really. So what do you think about that? I mean, certainly, you know, at this time, it's perfect for Muscle.
I think you're right. I think independent films have done well over this period of time. You know, like people are at the moment hungry for sort of content and yeah, I mean, we're all streaming now, right? We're all sort of looking out for that stuff. My friend was in a film called Makeup, which done really well over that period, like over this period, and yeah, I'm excited about it. I hope that in some ways we might have got more people seeing it than, you know, had this awful thing not happened. You know what I mean? But so yeah, I don't know. So it's a strange one. I was really pleased that it's got a cinematic release. I don't know if. Hopefully we're out of lockdown. I don't know how many people are going to be going to the cinema. Do you know what I mean? I know it's just a small cinema, but I do think it needs to be seen on big screen. It's like such a, I mean, it's such a beautiful film in that respect. I think it looks amazing, and on the big screen it's just really powerful, I think.
So am I right in thinking you just finished shooting? Are you back home now? Are you kind of still going?
No, I'm out. I'm in an actor's bubble. So we're doing this. I'm not really allowed to say what I'm doing, but yeah, I've literally just started something else. It's fun, you know. So it's sort of weird.
You're obviously shooting during the lockdown. Well, a lockdown you are, but obviously I said I was on a set of Craig's new film called Aya, and that was totally COVID. I mean, it was very impressive how they were working. So what's it like, kind of working in that environment?
Well, I think that anybody who's ever been on a film set before knows how organised those guys are. You know what I mean? And if anyone can deal with it, they can. You know, I mean, we're literally getting tested every 2 days. Like, we're all in little groups of people that you're not allowed to mix with other people. Even within that, then you've got to be in smaller groups. It's like they're totally on it. I think we're probably the safest people in Europe at the moment. You know what I mean? It's like. So, and also I thought it was going to take all the fun out of it. I just like literally had my first day shooting yesterday, and I was like, this is going to be awful. But actually it wasn't. It was fine. It was fine. We just had these sort of mad visors, and we had to follow a certain procedure. But it was just, we just got on like we normally do. So I think it feels quite positive in that sense of, like, hopefully that productions will start. I feel that they are getting back on the road, you know.
Well, hopefully we're coming out the other side of it generally now. So
I hope so. I mean, I quite enjoyed it in some respects. I got to spend a lot of time with my family and like that, but I'm Well, I think everyone's pretty over it now, right? It's like, come on.
Definitely. Yeah, I've had to send the kids out now because it's
Yeah,
just too much.
yeah.
Anyway, I wish you all the best with Muscle. I really love it. I hope it gets the recognition it deserves, because it does, through and through. So, and thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you, and yeah, appreciate that a lot. That's I hope it gets the recognition it deserves. Yeah.
Once you stop, you will never be able to start again.